for clicking on, tuning in to the Kehillat Torah Halacha Review, Laws and Customs of the High Holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and beyond, for Thursday, August 13th. During the repetition of the Amida, when the Khazen recites, V'anachnu korim, this is now we're talking about the Musaf Amida, we say it in our silent Shemona Esrei, when we daven the Amida, we say, most of the text of Aleinu is there. We say it. However, when the Chazan says it's customary for the congregation to say it along with him, and the people also bow and prostrate themselves, but they do not fall on the ground on their faces, except on Yom Kippur during the Avodah, during when we recall the service of the Kohen Gadol. Okay, so those are the words of Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, writing in Hungary, 1870s, 1880s, somewhere in there. However, I believe the note is from Mishnah Brura here, when they put together this new edition with commentary, they say it is our custom that people in the congregation, in fact, do fall on their faces, even on Rosh Hashanah. So you will see, for that one moment during the repetition of the Amida, that the people, at least some of the people, will actually kneel and prostrate themselves and bow with their faces towards the ground, as used to be done in temple times. Just that one time on Rosh Hashanah, and more on Yom Kippur, as we'll come to in its proper place. The note continues to say, we must be careful to place a mat, a towel, or some other object on the floor, because it's forbidden to fall on our faces directly on the floor. What's the reason for that prohibition? Is that we are not supposed to directly imitate, precisely copy the actions, the worshipful movements and so on that were taken in the temple, in the Beis HaMikdash. So there it was a stone floor, a marble floor. So the real prohibition, they don't mention it, they don't spell it out here, but the prohibition is not to prostrate oneself on a stone or marble floor. Now, most of the synagogues in our days have carpeting, thankfully, which is very nice, on a lot of different fronts, so you really don't have to worry about this at all. If you were in a shul with a dirt floor, which there was one in Curacao or somewhere, but if you're there for Rosh Hashanah, check with me first. Or if you're davening in somewhere, and this actually could happen, if you're in a place with a tile floor that looks like stone. Not even the case downstairs in the Davidson Social Hall, where we have a wooden floor. So we don't even have to worry about that. Nevertheless, you will see that I think our Khazen and some other people do actually put either a few towels or a few tissues or a handkerchief or even a mat purchased for that very reason. We'll put that on the floor so that they are extra careful to avoid the prohibition of prostrating oneself on a marble floor as we did in the temple, just so you know what's going on there. Okay, the Chazan also bows, but since he's forbidden to move from his place during the Amida, right, his feet have to stay planted in one place, he stands, when he davens the whole Shemona Esrei, he stands a little bit back from the Amud, from the Stender. Our Chazan brings along a nice movable Stender to make things easier, so that's how we navigate that. So that he can actually fall to his knees without moving from his place. And those who stand next to him, he has two people on either side of him helping him to get back up, so he won't have to move his feet. The tekiyas during the repetition of the Amida, the Musaf Amida on Rosh Hashanah, should not be blown by the Chazan unless he's sure that he will not be confused in his prayers as a result of it. You do have some places where people go out, Chazanim go out to daven for a congregation who doesn't have a chazan or doesn't have a rabbi during the whole year. So this person will do everything. They'll do all the davening. They will do the laning, the Torah reading. They'll do the Haftorah maybe, and they'll be the shofar blower also. It's quite an exhausting day, but I know a few people who have done it, and they do have to be careful to keep track of the prayers when they're blowing the shofar, so they don't confuse themselves. Okay, more about the Musaf Amida and shofar blowing tomorrow. Please join us then. Let me just remind everybody that if you would like to, if you heard or if you didn't hear, what a wonderful time we had this past Shabbat, getting together in our beloved sanctuary of Kehillat Torah for Shacharis on Shabbos morning. If you heard about it, good. You know how wonderful it is. And if you didn't hear about it, let me tell you, we did have a nice time and it was great to see everybody. So if you'd like to join, we have limited seating available. There are 50 spaces set up in the shul, and we will cap attendance at 50. So if you'd like to be part of the minyan for this coming Shabbat, day after tomorrow, so please do make sure to register today to make sure you're on the list. Okay? Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.